Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. So basically this is the AWS Zero to Master series. As you know, we are focusing on this series basically related that AWS cloud and services. If you can remember in the past few seasons, we talk about that AWS EC2 along with the TAMI and templates. Along with that, we have been discussed a lot more on the EC2 level. So if you haven't watched those videos, just look into those videos. You should be get more idea on this. So in a today's session, we're going to talk about that one of the important concepts that is called the AWS EC2 storage. So when we started working on that EC2, we should be maintain that multiple disk inside that operating system level. So if you are not aware of that EC2 storage, it will be difficult to manage the storage in the real environment. So we will discuss more on this that EC2 storage in the today's session. At the end of the video, you should be get like enough idea about the EC2 storage level. So let us start. So basically, when we are creating the EC2, there will be like one of the root volume will be created by default. So if you can remember those root volume, will be created based on the operating system recommendation. Like for example, if you are creating the Ubuntu or Amazon Linux, the volume size will be 8 GB, and if we are creating that Windows-based machine, the volume default root volume will be like 32 GB. So basically, along with that, we can create a different type of volume available on the AWS services. So if you can see that the commonly used that one of the volume that is called the EBS elastic block storage. So this storage this EBS only will help us when we are creating the EC2 instance. This will be help us to create a root volume by default. So along with that, we can create and attach that elastic instance storage based volume. So this is another one of the concept. And apart from that, there will be one of the services called the elastic file system. This will be help us to create a volume as a file system in the inside the Linux based machine, or it will be support that NFS based file system. So these all are the available services on the AWS. So basically, in the today's session, we're going to discuss about that Elastic Block Storage. So we will talk more on this. So in the upcoming session, we will cover it on that instant as well as the TFX. So Elastic Block Storage, it's nothing but it's a block level storage device. We can attach into the EC2 instance level as a value. So basically when we are attaching that instance, it's similar like that physical hard drive. Basically, if we have any kind of laptop, we should have that one of the hard drive. We can create a multiple volume inside that operating system level based on our capacity. The similar way we can create a volume into that AWS EBS level. So that using that we can attach those volume and we can mount it that based on the operating system inside the EC2. So another one of the things when we are creating the EC2 instance, as I mentioned by default, one of the root device will be created. So apart from that, based on our requirement, we can create a multiple EBS and we can attach into that EC2 instance. The only recommendation, those EBS and EC2 should be placed in the within the AZ, so that only we can attach that into the EC2. And along with that, one more additional option we can see it on when we are creating the EBS, that is called that multi-attach. So multi-attach means nothing but basically when we are creating that EBS volume, we can attach those EBS volume into the multiple EC2 instance, so that we can use it we can share the data between that EC2 level. So this is the one of the additional concept we can see it. But the thing is, there is some limitation when we are creating the EBS with the multi-attach. That will be support some kind of instance only, not for all. If you are creating the T2 micro or something, it will not support. Only it will support that some kind of instance type only. We will see it on the documentation level. So these all are the reference. I'll just paste it on that comment section so that you should be get more idea on this. So coming to that elastic like a black storage, there will be some kind of storage type we can get it. So we will discuss more on this. So basically, if you can see, when we are creating the TBS, we can see that the multiple storage type available on the AWS. So first one you can see the general purpose GP2 and the general purpose GP3. This is commonly used in the AWS level. So if you can see, the durability is that like 99.8 to 8% to 99.9%. That means 0.1 to 0.2 percentage. We can expect that failure rate based on the AWS documentation. So apart from that, the use cases where we can use this type of like EBS, if you are going to be create a EC2 with the boot volume, it will be help us. Apart from that, the development testing mission and the low latency interactive application, we can use it this kind of general purpose GP2 and GPT3, GP3. So along with that, if you can see the disk sizes, we can use it from the 1 GB to 16 TB. So it will be like help us to create a multiple EBS or else single EBS. We can create that the 16 till the 16 TB. And one more concept, as I mentioned, the multi-attach will not be support for the GP2 and GP3. So when we are creating the EBS with the GP2, so single EBS we can attach into the like dedicated EC2 only. We can't share those EBS to the another EC2. So another EBS volume that is called that IOPS IO2 and IO3. So basically this is based on the SSD methodology. So they are calling us the provisional IOPS SSD IO2 and the IO3. So if you can see that the name IOPS, that means that input and output operation per second. Basically they are focusing on that those IOPS and the throughput only in that provisional IO2 and IO3. So if you can see, like they are giving that 0.001 percentage only that failure rate. So we can get that very highly available using this IO2. And IO3, you can see that 0.12 and 0.2 percentage failure rate, similar like the GP2. So these all are that similar like only. The coming to the use cases, you can see like IO2, we can use as a boot volume if you need some kind of advanced boot volume for our operating system. Apart from that, we can get that sustained IOPS using that IO2. Along with that, the million second latency we can get it. And one more thing we need to be noticed, using this IO2, we can get more than 64,000 IF or else 1000 MB per second throughput on this IO2. So basically, if you need some kind of highly required that input output operation along with that, if you require any kind of like a throughput also, we can go with that IO2. That will be help us. So if you can see that the disk size also that a 4 GB to 64 TB we can use it. Here you can see multi-attach is also supporting that IO2. This will be help us if you have a critical EC2 or anything like yeah, we can use it. So IO3 also that one of the similar like IO2. Here also we can use the same boot volume if you record. And apart from that, the IAP we can get it that more than like a 16,000. So comparing that IO2. Along with that, if we have any kind of intensive database, if we record that sustained IO, so we can use it that IO3 also. No, not an issue. The disk is also like remaining the same similar like IO2 and the multi-attach also working. So along with that general purpose GP2, GP3, IO2, IO3, there will be another three methodologies there method. One is called the throughput optimized ST1 and cold hard disk SC1. These all are the another storage they are providing under the EBS. So basically the annual failure rate will be like 0.1 to 0.2 percent, the similar rate. But the thing is we can use it. It will be help us to deploy the EC2 instance for the big data analysis or the data warehousing on the long processing. If in case if you require that any kind of high throughput or else that high IAPS, this will not help us. So basically, the disk size also cold and the ST1 will be providing 125 GB to 16 TB and the multi-attach not available. So basically that SC1 you can see in case if we have any kind of data when we are going to be access those data infrequent way like a 6 month once or 3 months one, those time we can go with the cold HDD SC1. It will be help us and maximum IAPS we can get it and the ST1 the 500 only and the SC1 250 only. So if it is that if you record that high level IAPS, it will not help us. So another like a very like standard like a standard magnetic HDD. It is that like a very legacy model they are using on that backend. When we record that infrequent access along with that, if we record some kind of low cost, we can go with that standard magnetics. So there will be like 1 GB they are providing to till that 1 TB. So I'm just switching to that console. So So if you are like before creating that EBS volume, we should be like be aware of that EC2 instance type level. So basically, they are providing that instance type with EBS, some kind of like bandwidth we should be ensure. So along with that, like some kind of instance type only will support that multi-attach. So we will see it on that console itself. You can see EBS like bandwidth up to 10, so up to 10. So if you require that more bandwidth for the EBS level, we should be like be aware of that. We should confirm before going to be create the EBS. And additional one of the things we need to be ensure that the multi-attach, as I mentioned, there will be like some kind of like limitation is there. So basically, it will be support that nitro system along with that like those nitro system will be like some kind of instance type only will be support. So basically, we can use that IO2 and IO3 is the like multi-attach. So that normal GP2 or GP3 will not be support. So this is the documentation providing by AWS. So we will see it on that console so that you should be get more idea on that. So now what we are going to do, I'm going to be create a one like instance. So using the instance, we will try to attach that EBS volume into the instance. So I'm going to be instance that EBS lab. So I'm going to select that Amazon Linux. It is like apart from the T2 micros inside, this is the like eligibility I can use it. Keep I can use that Ubuntu and security group is that existing one. I hope you guys are aware of that this kind of configuration. If you are not aware, just look into my previous video. You should be get more idea on that. So basically, we are going to work it on the configure storage level. So here, if I am selecting that Linux by default, the root volume like a recommendation 8 GB, we can use it that more than that also. That root volume, like as I mentioned, this is the like GP3 and GP2 that recommend like basics recommendation. If you require some kind of highly IAPs for the boot volume, you can go with the provisioned IAP. Apart from that, magnetic also is there. So I'm going to do like create with the GP2 that is enough for that free tier. And additionally, what we are going to do, either we can create a volume here itself and we can attach into the EBS. Otherwise, after creating the EBS volume also, we can like attach those volume into that EBS. So another one of the concept we need to be know like if you can click on that like advanced tab, so you can see that volume related information like how much GPU we are going to be attached and that volume type along with that how much IOPS you can get it and that encryption method. If you record, you can just encrypt, otherwise not encrypt. So when we are going to be see that snapshot, we will see that encryption and not like unencrypted disk and encrypted disk. We will see that this is the one of the important concept delete on termination. When we are enabling that delete on termination is yes, like by default if you are if you are terminating the EC2 instance, the root volume will be like by default will be deleted. So be sure about that. If you require that boot volume, like in case after deleting your EC2 instance also, it should be like disabled. Once after like enable, you should be use it through the AWS CLA only. You can disable this option for the root volume. So be sure about that. So just click on that. Yes, I'm just going to be use it at the delete protection to create an instance. So now you can see I have been created one instance with the basic detail. So basically we can see the storage details in the under the storage column. So it will take a few seconds as you know. Yeah, now it's up and running. So basically if you can see that black device I'm just like using that 8 GB. It's in the attaching state. So what we are going to do? We are going to be create a EBS volume separate, and we should be like attach those volume into the like a EC2 instance. To do that, just to expand that elastic block store and click on the volume. So basically, this is the one by default it will be created, and now you can see it was attached with the one of the instance. Now I'm going to be create a volume. So as I mentioned, there are like multiple options is there. GP2, GP3 is the generally used general purpose we can use it. Apart from that, if you need a high IOPS, we can use that a provisioned IOPS SSD IO1 and IO2. And the magnet is that hard disk that is one of the legacy. And apart from that, if you are going to use that any kind of cost optimization, very like infrequent access, we can go with that throughput or cold. So I'm going to be create that. Like a GP3. So size basically I'm going to be create with a 10 GB for the demo purpose. That is fine. So IF maybe we can increase. By default it will become like if you record you can change it based on the limitation. And the throughput also I think fine that 125 MB per second. So here, as I mentioned, that availability zone. When we are creating the TBS, we should we need to be like be sure about that where we are going to be attach those EBS. Like for example, this is the one of the instance we have been created. If you can see this instance running on the TBS ES2 only, if I'm going to be attach the EBS into that this particular instance, I need to be create the EBS volume into the particular availability zone. If I'm creating anywhere like 1B, 1C, it will not give option to attach this EBS. So I'm going to be select the by default. And the snapshot is the one of the separate concept we will see it on that upcoming session. So here basically they are telling like when you're creating that volume, we can create using the existing snapshot that will be like capture the data. So this is the things they are giving. And the encryption also that one of the like additional concept we will see it on the next session. Now we are going to see about that the basic configurations how we can create. Just to create a volume, I just given that like availability zone and with the GP3. Now you can see I have been created that 100 GB. So sorry 10 GB. So it was that volume status is okay. You can see this was the GP3. All the other details we can see it here. So So now what we are going to do, we are going to attach this volume into the EC2 instance. And one more thing, the delete on protection by default will be enabled on the root volume level only. Like if we enable by default, the root volume will be deleted along with the EC2. But when we are creating that separate volume using that volume console, the protection the delete the EBS will not be deleted by default when we are removing the EC2. We need to be remove manually. So I'm going to be click on the EBS and just action and attach. So here we need to be select that instance. So there is the one instance and the device name we can select based on our requirement. Okay, well, these all are the available by default already one is there. So we are going to be that any one of the things and I'm going to be that SDB by default. So attach one. So now we can see that instance details also here itself attached resources. So on the instance also you can see it should be coming to that attaching state. You can see there are two EBS has been attached. So to create that volume in volume inside that EBS, just to connect your instance and follow that as per the recommendation providing by AWS or that further OS. Like if you need to attach that EBS into AWS, Amazon Linux, they are providing that some kind of documentation. Just you can follow these recommendation. You can get it that the volume online into that particular EC2. So basically, this is the way we can create a EC2 instance, and we can create a separate EBS, and we can attach those EBS into that. EC2. If you need to be like de-attach those volume, just click on the click on that EBS and click on that action and de-attach volume. So this is the way we can like attach and de-attach that volume. So that's all about that the EBS Elastic Black Storage today's session. So and one more thing, as I mentioned, like that multi-attach is the one of the another concept I forgot to update. So when we are creating the volume, if we need to be attach those volume to multiple EC2 instance, we can attach that to those like we can create a volume with multi-attach. But as I mentioned, let me open the console. So you can see like the multi-attach will be support for the provisioned I of IO2 and IO3 only. Other device you can't attach. And apart from that, there will be like some kind of limitation is there. Some kind of instance only you can use it for that multi-attach. So we'll see it in the basics way. I'm just going to the console. So if you can see, if I'm click on that GP3, you can't see that multi-attach encryption only you can see. And if I'm just click on the GP2, here also you can't see. But if I'm just click on that IO2, you can see that multi-attach before that encryption. So we need to be sure like enable this option when we need to be use those disk to that like as a multi-attach into the EC2 instance. So I'm going to be using that when I'm just going to be that use 4 GB, they are providing that by default we need to be use that like 200 or something. So I'm just giving the 200. So the same availability zone, I'm going to be create the EBS with the multi-attach. So create. So basically, now have been created that EBS with IO2. So this we have been enabled with the multi-attach. You can see that yes. But if I'm just trying to attach this instance to the particular, sorry, this EBS to the particular instance, it will not work. Since like basically we have been created this instance for the as a type of the T2 micro. As I mentioned, some type of instance volume will be support. If you can see on the documentation, like you can see that like what are the instance type are supporting that. Multi-attach. So basically, if I'm just trying to attach the volume, touch volume. So if you can see, if I'm just click on that instance, just I'm just saving that with some device name. You can see the volume ID is like multi-attach enabled, and the T2 micro does not support that enabled volume. So basically, we need to be enabled with some kind of nitro instance type. Those type only will be support. So that's all about that multi-attach and that EBS volume. So still, if you require more idea how we can create that multi-attach with the Nitro system, just feel free to leave a comment. I'll take up the one more session. I'll create that with the Nitro system that is some advanced instance type. I'll just try to give a demo for that. So that's all about the today's session. So thanks for watching my channel once again, and we'll see you in the upcoming session. Thanks.